Hey everyone, we're here with Der Abt. Probably said it wrong because, you know, I'm not real smart. From Between Sunset and Sunrise, fantastic black metal project that I am really fucking enjoying right now, and I hope you do too. So thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your kind words about between sunset and sunrise. And actually, you pronounce it really well, the Abt. So big up
Thank
for
you.
that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Get my Now my head's gonna get big, and I know German. No, no, not really. So what was the catalyst for Between Sunset and Sunrise, like starting?
Well, I I always wanted to make a depressive suicidal black metal band, like DSBM as they call it. Since I've been listening to all these the fathers of this music for years now, and I'm a huge fan and everything. And I'm a composer myself and everything, but there's never a good time to do so. So I actually decided to give it a shot since I wasn't very experienced in that matter on in terms of composing that music. So it started 2 3 months ago. Um, I went for that EP just to launch the band. But as you know, DSBM they tend to be longer songs, longer compositions. So
Yeah.
it ended up being almost half an hour. So this was like a mini album. So just to sum up your question is
Yeah.
I I always wanted to do something like this. So that's how it started, basically.
Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I think a lot of musicians, that is the catalyst is, well, I really want to do that. And so that's the direction they go, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So the upcoming album is called In the Middle of Chaos. And is it I don't remember if it's four or five. I think it's five songs, right?
It's 5 songs, yeah. That's why I call it a mini album.
Yeah.
EP, you call it whatever you want, whatever feels better for you.
Yeah. Whatever you're happy with. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
uh, so with In the Middle of Chaos, are you putting out any like physical copies, like vinyl, CDs, cassettes?
Cassettes, which I hope they're gonna be ready by the end of next month, October 24. And vinyls are in the move at the moment, but vinyls they take so much longer.
Yeah.
So I don't have a date for vinyls at the moment, but yeah, that's the plan. Vinyls and cassettes, a very limited amount of both cassettes and vinyls. So
Awesome. So, and with the vinyls, are you doing like different colors, different variants of them?
no, I'm doing one, a very simple one. It's gonna be a single vinyl because it's not that long of the length of the album is not long. It's 27 minutes, so
Right.
I won't have to go with double LPs and everything. So it's gonna be one single vinyl. And when I say limited, I'm thinking 150, 200 tops, and that's gonna be it.
Oh yeah. Super limited. And you're just doing the black vinyl?
The black vinyl, yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm trying to get it to a point, to just maybe have a print on the vinyl as well.
Yeah.
Initially, I was going for the black one.
Yeah. I'm a vinyl guy. And I have, I don't know, I have quite a few vinyl, and I always ask about the variants because I'm like, all right, how many am I going to have to buy of this album? Because I am absolutely that guy that's like, I really like this album, and they've got four variants. I have to buy each one of those, so I have that, you know.
Well, With Between Sunset and Sunrise, this particular album, you're only gonna have to buy one. Super
Awesome.
convenient, I suppose.
Yeah, and I really like those limited runs. Hopefully, from my perspective, I hope that that sells out fast for you because it's, I think overall it's a great collection of songs. It's
Thanks
a
so much.
really solid length, it keeps you entertained through the whole
Thanks so
bit.
much. To me, the most important part is to spread the music, not just to sell vinyls. Because with this particular project, I'm not trying to earn anything. As
Yeah,
I'm doing everything myself, I invest a lot, of course, because you know how the music industry is at the moment, and you gotta do everything by yourself. I'm just one person. I have no assistance whatsoever. So I'm not just. It's the goal on for this project is to just spread the music, to get feedback, to get people to fall in love with the music, and to keep this band going. Because
yeah.
that's the plan, to go
That's
for a full length album later.
that's the important thing, right? Is making sure everyone loves it and comes back and listens for more, right?
Exactly.
So is
I
there,
want to inspire people basically.
yeah, absolutely. Is there a song for you that sticks out more than the others on the album?
Yeah, of course. It's the one that's already out as like the first single. It's called Half Empty Nightmares, which basically works as a pilot for the whole album, the whole band, if you want, because there is exactly a lyric in there says between sunset and sunrise. There is another lyric saying in the middle of chaos, which is the name of the album.
Yep.
Um, and to be completely honest with you, that was the first song I wrote for this band, and I basically took everything from the lyrics of that song, and I came up with a name after I finished the album with both the band and the album name. So I placed it over there as a pilot, and this is the song basically that started everything.
Yeah. That's a pretty neat like idea. You write the song and you're like, oh shit, I have to name the band. So I like that lyric and yeah, I'll pull that as the album. That
That's how I usually do that with all my projects, all my compositions, or whatever I do. I just even if it's a song or an album, I finish everything and then I'm coming up with the titles, album titles, or even a band name, because then you are not biased. You know, when you finish everything,
yeah,
you don't know. You just pick the. To me, that's how I do it. At least you just pick the highlight or whatever word or sentence describes best the composition, the song,
yeah,
or even the band, and then you just place it as a title. Because you could confuse yourself if you start with the title and then the song takes a completely different direction, and then you're saying, "Oh, I need to change now the title, or I need to change the song," or
yeah. Something doesn't fit. Oh shit, what do we do here?
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to say about this album is that I don't know if you if you have any similar question, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is that after all, it's not DSBM. That's what I was saying before. It's not depressive suicidal. That's how it started, but eventually it ended up being post-depressive ambient black metal. You call it whatever. It's not. It's not DSBM, and that's what happened when I started writing for like this genre. I was faithful to that genre, but then my composing side side of me found me, and I just let it be.
Um,
I
you know,
just
I,
let it run as it was. So this could also happen with the titles, as we're saying. So
well, I think that's the way it should be, right? Like you almost always go into something thinking, okay, this is what I want to do. And then when you get in there and you're actually, composing and writing and fleshing everything out, other things pop in and you're like, oh man, this would sound really good in there. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, I started off as DSBM and now it's, something that is still kind of in that vein, but not solely that, right?
My theory is, if it sounds good, just leave it as is.
Yes,
Don't compromise your thoughts, your creativity, just for the sake of following a genre or
I
trying
agree.
to sound like someone else.
No, you should always bands that last, always write stuff that is true to them, right? So I feel like every artist, that's how they should be, right? You stay true to yourself, whatever that means, right? Even if you go off the rails and out into left field on the next album, as long as it's true to yourself, that's what matters.
I agree 100%.
So so for you, like what who are some of the artists that inspired you to like write in the middle of chaos?
If I could pick three, two or three, maybe that would be probably a Belgian band called Gris. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right. It's Gris. They, I'm not even sure if they exist anymore. They released like two albums, but in mid tens, I think, and another great band. It's Australian band actually, Auster or Auster. I'm not sure if that's what's how they pronounce it, but
Yeah.
these these two bands they keep playing in my Spotify playlist, and I'm just in the bus, like walking everywhere, and it was all over my head. I'm like, okay, this is something challenging as a composer, and this is something I really want to do because um, as a songwriter and composer, my compositions always tend to be sad and tend to be depressive, even if it's just an instrumental track on the piano or whatever. It seems to be very depressive, and I thought I never had the chance to actually try and do something solid in the depressing world. So that's how it is. Um, of course, other classic black metal bands, but this doesn't have to do with Between Sunset and Sunrise.
Sure. So
If I
you're
had to choose big, yeah,
that it would be those two, Gree or Griss and Ouster.
yeah,
Okay.
those two that would be, and
Sweet.
probably their fans would like that as well.
Sweet. So I'm gonna have to dig into them and check that out. I always ask that question because what I want to do is I want to find more bands to go dig into.
Oh, fair enough. Um,
Hopefully, hopefully some other people really like get into that too.
we are a few. We're not that many. I don't know if you are a huge DSBM fan or if you are like more the classic black metal guy, or
I'd say classic, more classic black metal. But you know, I, I'm open to literally everything.
that's great.
You know, I think there's good music everywhere, and it's just a matter of like finding it. And this helps me like seek it out, and hopefully it drives some more people, to seek out some of those lesser known bands also.
That's great. Yeah, I
Uh,
totally agree.
so um, Between Sunset and Sunrise is still super new. What are your plans to take it live?
There are no plans in taking it live at the moment. Of course, I'm keen to take it live. I'm surrounded by great musicians with other bands as well, fans of that music and everything, but there are no plans at the moment. The next step that would be a full length album, and hopefully at the beginning, start of 25. So I'm already composing the next tracks, um,
Sweet.
but I'm taking my time. I'm not. pushing myself at the moment because there are other projects I need to handle as well. So
Yeah, man, that is always on the go.
yeah, on the go. And if you're not pushing it, it's better. Songs are better. They feel more natural. It's not a
Yeah,
matter of. It's not always a matter of inspiration. It's also a matter of your mental state at the moment, or how calm you are, or how comfortable you feel, or anything. How busy you are in your real life.
yeah, yeah. There's real life is super busy here, so
Fortunately, yeah.
like I'll go all the time. I don't, I guess I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Likewise, yeah, same here.
So, how many other projects do you have going on?
I've got four more projects, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to reveal which ones.
Okay.
Some of them are live already. Some of them are in the works. I still, um, I'm still signing as the Abt, but it's. I mean, it's published. It's public the information and everything. But for now, let's just focus on Between Sunset and Sunrise.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if anyone likes the music and wants to dig in a little bit more about my music, they can always find it.
Can
I'm
always find
I'm
it.
go, I'm, go, I'm going by the same name on every project.
Okay. So let me ask you, who did the artwork for the album? Was that you also?
No, that was a very close friend of mine. He's not a graphic designer. He's doing something close to graphic design, but not a graphic designer.
Okay.
And he's an architect basically.
Oh, gotcha.
But these guys they tend to have really good hands and really good drawings and everything. So basically one of my best friends, and every time I need something, I'm like, okay, can you do that for me? Or
And he's like, yeah, I'll
I
do
just
it.
I just pass the idea and he's just going wild.
That's awesome. Like he did such a good job. Um, did he do that in pencil?
Started with pencil, then we transferred to Photoshop, then again to Illustrator. It's like there's a process to basically go. It's a blend of it's starting on the paper and then it ends up being digitally processed, because we all need the digital copies anyway to handle the album artwork and everything. But yeah, it's starting on paper and then goes to Photoshop with layering and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm so not artistic at all. So I'm looking at the artwork just like,
Same here.
I've got some friends that can draw really good, and I'm like, I can draw a stick figure if you're okay with a really bad stick figure, but
I can't even do that. I'm I'm proficient in Photoshop, but that's it. That's the end of it. I'm not a graphic designer. I can't draw anything. So I just do the music.
yeah. Well, you do the music really well.
Thanks so much.
For you, so did you do like all the instruments on the album?
Everything. So from zero to the end product, in here, my little room slash studio slash everything. Everything's happening in here. Vocals included. Um, and mixing, mastering, and everything all in here,
Right
which
on.
is kind of feels like a bit lonely. I know. I understand it sounds little bit lonely, but at the same time, it's so liberating to be able to do everything by yourself.
It ends up
And
sounding exactly how you want it to.
not really, not with
Oh,
every project. There are bands, and I am a part of a band that we are all equals and everything, and this is basically my favorite kind of project because it's been so many years now. But when it comes to black metal and one projects and this kind of stuff, it's better to do it yourself. And I appreciate the luxury to just release anytime I want, write anytime I want, and never have to ask or just to compromise my schedule with
Yeah.
messages.
Yeah, there's nothing from anyone else. So like you're right. If you wake up at 3 in the morning and decide, hey, I got a song, you go and knock it
Exactly,
out
and there's this small dose of freedom, which is kind of liberating.
for sure.
And at the same time, I can disband the band whenever I want. I can just release 10 more albums. I can do whatever I want, which is like the fun part of it.
Yeah. Well, you don't even really have to disband it. You just not do anything. Like I'll come back to that eventually.
No, no, I like to be honest.
Okay.
As a band member, as a creator, I like to be honest, saying like this has come to an end now. So just it.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So run me through you've got the complete face covered. You've got a cloak.
Some kind of this is a house outfit. The live outfit is a full cloak. Um, so it's the Abt figure, as I am at the moment, is appearing on all kinds of artworks, even with the other project as well. So it started all with one of my other projects, which has to do something with medieval music and black metal, of course. It This is basically the medieval monk outfit,
Okay.
which is modified, of course,
Yeah.
tailored to the band and everything. So the figure of that band is myself and the other members as well. They all wear the same outfit, but the main figure, the Abt, having other projects, I decided to appear on every artwork and every other project as this persona. So
That's
it's nothing more than a medieval monk's outfit.
it's gotta be a lot though, right? To appear in all of the artwork for all of the projects.
Under different vibes and styles, though.
Okay.
To me, that's the only constant in the sea of variables. That this persona, this outfit, this guy, anyway, he's everywhere and he looks the same on every other project.
Yeah. That's that's pretty neat. I always like the theatrics behind like, when a band has I'm gonna call it a character, right, for lack of a better term, but and then you run through it. Like I'm not a big like Ghost fan, but I appreciate how, dude keeps changing with every album. It's something a little bit different.
That's incredible what they do, and not only Ghost, Batushka, um, and so many bands at the moment. That some of them they try to hide their identities. Some of them they're doing it, myself included, for just for the sake of music. Because I
Hmm.
I really um I really need fans and listeners and people to just concentrate on the music and not my face or how do I look or how the other band members look or whatever. They know my close friends and all my family and everything. They do know who I am, of course, but when even them, when they are at the show, I just want them to concentrate on the music and on the character to basically go on to another world at the moment. Those 45 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever the set list is, I want them to just be there,
Yeah.
like in theater, exactly.
Yeah, as it should be, right? Like when you go, I mean, when I go to a live show, I want everything in the outside world outside. I want to
That's correct.
be completely immersed in what's going on stage and in my head, you know? I
That's
think,
correct. That's
I,
how it should be.
yeah, absolutely. I would like to see a lot more people get back to that. Um, but you know, I guess, I guess
Don't get
there's
me wrong.
enough.
There's nothing wrong with being yourself on stage and everything. At the end of the day, it's yourself. It's you. You're playing anyway. But especially in this ambient kind of mystical vibe, I'm trying to share with between sunset and sunrise. I'd much rather to be faceless, all of us, when we go live. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, with that in mind, are you trying to put like a timeline on when you take the project live?
Roughly summer 25. I hope we play a bunch of shows. I'm not sure yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to set up a few shows here in England where I live. Um, but roughly again, nothing's sure.
Right. Yeah. Nothing's set in stone yet.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the priority at the moment. Priority
Yeah.
is just to release music and see how it goes.
Right on. So, how far into the next album are you?
Um, Not even halfway through.
Uh,
um, I haven't put I have no specific like length in mind or tracks. I'm just going when I feel it's gonna be ready. It's gonna be ready. I assume like 9, 10 songs maybe. I don't want it to be too long, like 2 hours or anything.
right.
Um, but I believe a good time to release a full length album that would be early 25, first quarter maybe 2025.
Yeah.
Um,
What?
I think
So,
that's
what?
it.
Why do you think that's a good time to release the album?
Just because it's going to be sufficient time for this, for in the middle of chaos to be promoted, to be shared, to let the people know that this project exists. As we speak at the moment, there's nothing out there. It's just one song out there, 2 songs actually. It's the lyric video
Yeah.
as well on YouTube only. um, just a few of us that we know that this project exists. I believe 5 or 6 months with a kind of a full you get the full idea of what this band is going for. So um, 5 or 6 months from then will be a good time to release a full length album and establish kind of establish the sound, because at the moment I believe the sound is at 80%, 85%. It's not where it should be.
Okay.
Maybe other changes will come as well. So this touch of brightness this album has, which doesn't fit very well in a perfect world, doesn't fit very well with a depressive vibe. But
No.
this is just a twist of
Eh,
brightness. Maybe it's going to get even brighter or even darker. I don't know, but I definitely have to establish the sound.
yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Uh, you know, looking at some older bands, they definitely try to establish that sound early on, and you've got I feel like there's a good mix of bands that have that established sound, like this is what we're going to do, and then bands that mix it up with every album. It's a different sound.
Both approaches are appreciated, definitely. I appreciate bands that they do experiment on each album and trying. It proves me that they still trying to find themselves and their sound.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate bands that they found their sound, like the first two albums, maybe three albums, and then they kept going forever.
Yeah. I, I'm the same, right? I also think that both both approaches have their place, and not, like obviously AC/DC. It's they have a, when they hit a chord, that's AC/DC. You know,
That's very true. Yeah, I actually had Iron Maiden in mind,
oh them
except
also.
for the two albums, for the first two albums,
Yeah,
of course, except the two albums, the first two albums. But when they established their sound, that was it.
yeah.
And we're talking about, I mean, Maiden is one of my favorite bands anyway, so
Oh, right on. Yeah,
maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
no, they're fantastic though. I mean, gosh, they've got 40 something years together now, maybe 50. Oh, it's gonna be, hold on. I think it's 50. It'll be 50 next year. They're planning on a 50th anniversary tour.
I think so. No, 45, 45.
Oh, is it
No,
45?
I think 45. Yeah, to 1980 first album. Yeah, so 45.
Oh, you're right.
Still,
Yeah, still 45
that's
years,
half century. Yeah, still.
Yeah, I think, we all aspire to be making music that long, right?
I mean, yeah, that's a dream.
Yeah, it's always the dream. So what has been your like favorite live show experience?
We have played no shows yet, so
Well, what about
are you
what
talking about which?
just you personally, like going to a show and like you had a really good experience going to see.
Oh, I I used to go to a lot of shows, but lately, the last after a little bit pre-COVID and after COVID, I'm more like a festival guy. So there's this festival in Germany called Wacken Open Air.
Hmm.
So which is my favorite festival. I've been there like 7, 8 times. I've got friends that they regularly play there. Um, so this is my go-to festival. So the experience, that's the experience I'm after. Like a festival, 4 day, maybe 5 day festival, uh, outside the real world, forget everything, drink beers and watch like tens of bands every day,
Yeah,
different stages and all this. So that's the experience. In terms of single shows, I prefer not to be open air. I prefer like club shows, maybe arena shows. I'm not a huge fan of stadiums.
right.
They tend to be so impersonal. And if I want to get the stadium vibe, I would choose festival every day of the week.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So obviously I've not been to Wacken. I'd love to go there one day.
It's an
Um,
incredible experience. You should go at some point. Just make sure you should go.
yeah. Yeah, my goal is to hit all the festivals around the world at one point or another. See them all. I
Yeah.
really enjoy what I see from Hellfest also.
Yeah, I've never been, but yeah, Hellfest is way bigger than Viking, I believe, but I
Yeah.
actually never been.
How how big is Wacken?
90,000 tickets. If we put everyone with crew and everything, like 100,000 people, maybe.
Wow. I mean that's still pretty big.
It's huge, yeah. It's
Yeah.
we're talking. I was there like last month. This in this edition again. Um, they updated the stages and everything, so it's 12 stages at the moment, 10 or 12 stages.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's
walkable. You
that's
can walk between stages again, but it's huge. It's massive.
yeah. That's that's crazy to think about. We have Louder Than Life here. And what do they have? 5 stages. Oh, and it's over 4 days. And I can't imagine having 10 or 12 stages to go check out.
It's 3 sets of twin stages, and there are the small ones, the medieval ones. You know, they some of them are a bit outside the village, and they divided by themes, by sound, by everything. There's one stage that plays only folk, another stage that plays only medieval folk, and the big ones, the big boys, of course, they play only the big boys.
That's awesome. Yeah, they
Mm.
don't even like ours aren't even by sound. It's just we're gonna put bigger bands here, smaller bands here.
Hmm.
Just like, eh,
In some way, Vakin works the same way, but again, there are 2 or 3 dedicated stages, which is great.
yeah,
So if you're a fan, like particularly medieval folk, you can stick there 4 days and forget about everything.
yeah. That like
Maybe, maybe.
I feel like we need to have, maybe a couple of dedicated stages, but they changed the stage situation this year. So there's 2 festivals that are back to back. It's Bourbon and Beyond, which is like adult contemporary and country, and
Oh,
Louder Than Life the following weekend. And they used the same layout for both weekends. Well, I went to Bourbon and Beyond last weekend, um, and they had like the 2 main stages, and then off to the left are like the two like smaller stages. Um, and if you were in the wrong spot, you can hear both of them when they're
um,
when they're playing, and it was absolutely miserable.
this happens to Vakin as well. If you're
Yeah,
not on the, you're not the same in the right place, you
yeah.
can. Or when a band finishes a song, in that small gap, in the small silence, you can hear another band blasting next stage.
You're like, shit, I got to get up closer so because I don't want to hear that. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So, what band at Wacken this year stood out to you as just a fantastic live band?
There were quite a few this year. Corn, of course, which is like I'm not a huge fan, but they were incredible. Um, Avantasia, again, not a huge fan, but sick. German band that I really appreciate. I'm sure you don't know them. They call Feuerschwanz.
Mm,
They're pretty big in Germany. And they play like main stage, 7 p.m. was insane. And a few smaller bands. Tina Guo, if you know her, she's a cellist. Um, I think those are the highlights, and a few
okay.
other smaller bands. Corvus Corax. I'm just trying to catch all the bands I've never seen, because of course they are the huge names that I've seen like 100 times.
Yeah.
Testament, for example, and everything. But I don't want to see Testament again. I saw them like 6 times already. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the both the cool and the hard thing with going to a festival is, you've got, of course, the bands, the common like people who show up, like Testament, right? I feel like they play a lot of festivals, they play a lot of shows. They're out there grinding, and you look at the schedule and you're like, okay, so I've got to be here, and then I'd like to see them, but I'd rather see these guys. So,
the
you know,
clashes, there are some clashes, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
you're like running all over the place trying to catch all the bands. And I was looking at the schedule for this weekend, and I was like, man, I'm like Body Count and Mastodon are playing. I like both those bands. I'm like,
At the same time,
yes,
Oh, as a Clash. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go watch Body Count because I've only seen them one other time, whereas I've seen Mastodon probably a dozen times, you know?
Usually, yeah, that's a factor. Yeah, that
Yeah,
helps you decide. That's how
yeah,
I do it anyway.
yeah. I think that's how most people do it. Of course, you've got the
Mm.
people who just go and say, okay, this is what, I'm just gonna stay here and watch this stage because whatever reason. But
Because I got a good spot now, so I'm not
yeah,
moving.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna pee my pants because I don't want to move at all. Uh,
Right on.
Uh, so with in the middle of chaos, do you have any goals or thresholds that you would like to meet with the release of it?
I have no specific goals in terms of numbers or anything like this. Especially with that kind of music, I would never rely on Spotify, because Spotify is not friendly with this kind of music, and I believe even the listeners of this music, they're not on Spotify. They prefer Bandcamp, they prefer YouTube,
Yep.
um, which uh, I prefer Bandcamp as well. So there is no certain specific threshold in terms of numbers. Just want to share it with as many people as possible, and to get a real feedback. Like, should I keep going? Should I keep trying? Should I release something new? That's always that always gives me strength to keep going. If even if I have like five people saying, we are expecting new music for you from you,
Yeah,
then for me that's enough.
that's fair. I was talking with Henry from God Dethroned, and he says, they released an album and like right in COVID, and they're used to releasing the album, going out into the world, and it um reinvigorating them, giving them this energy back, and they couldn't do it through COVID, right? They couldn't go out and play live. He's like, and I was so drained that, it's not really validation, but you're looking to get that energy back,
Hmm.
to put into the next album. So that's, you know, I,
But again,
I
again at the same time, I had no one waiting for this project, for example. So I just I wanted that was a main like motive I got. Like I wanted to do it for myself, but now to keep going, that would be really helpful to have like 5, 10 people waiting for it.
yeah. Well, I feel like, once this album gets out there, I feel like it's going to be a lot more than 5 or 10 people waiting for it. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it. And
Thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate it.
it's a really good sound. I think the songs are well crafted, and I think a lot of people will greatly appreciate it. Like I ask you about live shows because this is something that I would love to experience live.
Um, that that gives me something. That gives me some kind of power. So yeah, I think that'll be way better live. Um, Sounds different. You know that it's everything's more natural. This isn't so much of a studio band anyway. Um, that's why I'm actually planning in the long run to getting it out there in the real
Yeah,
world, and I'll make sure to let you know.
awesome. Yeah, please do because I've got to experience it live at least once.
That's awesome. I'm not even sure if we if we're able to visit the States, but definitely UK or mainland Europe.
Yeah, maybe you can't visit States. Maybe I have to take a trip over to Europe to see you. I'm cool with that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Okay. Uh, I I'm not going to keep you all day. I greatly appreciate you taking time to come and talk about Between the Sunset and Sunrise. I'm going to find you on Bandcamp, and I'm going to pre-order the vinyl because I've got to own one. So
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Like, thanks for the music. It's fantastic. So
Thank you,
again,
brother.
Thank you, man. I wish you the best success.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we speak soon with some live shows.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Have a great day.